Genes are not the blueprint for life. Understanding the complexity of biological systems. In popular science, genes are often metaphorically referred to as the blueprint for life. This metaphor suggests that genes contain detailed instructions akin to architectural drawings that precisely determine how an organism is built. While this analogy may serve as a useful shorthand for conveying the importance of genetics, it is fundamentally flawed when scrutinized under the lens of modern biology. Life is far more intricate than the oversimplified notion of genes as blueprints can convey. To appreciate the true complexity of biological systems, we must explore the nuances of gene expression, epigenetics, environmental interactions, and the emergent properties that make living organisms much more than mere collections of genetic instructions. Genes and their limitations. Genes, made up of DNA, carry the code for producing proteins, which are the workhorses of cellular function. These proteins perform essential tasks such as catalyzing reactions, forming structural components, and regulating processes within the cell. The genetic code is undoubtedly a critical component in the development and maintenance of life. However, equating genes to a deterministic blueprint fails to capture the flexible, dynamic nature of biological development. A blueprint, in the traditional architectural sense, is a static, unchanging set of instructions. The process of building a structure from a blueprint is direct. Follow the plan step by step, and the intended outcome will be achieved. In contrast, genes function more like a recipe than a blueprint. Just as cooking depends on variables like the chef's skill, ingredient quality, and environmental factors, e.g., heat, humidity, the expression of genes is influenced by a complex network of regulatory mechanisms, both internal and external to the organism. Gene expression. More than just DNA. Gene expression is the process by which information encoded in DNA is transcribed into messenger RNA, mRNA, and then translated into proteins. This process is tightly regulated by numerous factors. For instance, not all genes are active at all times. Cells control gene expression based on signals from within and outside the cell. Some genes are turned on only in specific tissues or in response to environmental changes. This regulation undermines the blueprint analogy because it demonstrates that genes do not have a one-to-one correspondence with their final products. The same gene can lead to different outcomes depending on the context of its expression. Moreover, alternative splicing allows a single gene to produce multiple proteins, further complicating the simplistic view of genes as blueprints. Epigenetics. The layer beyond genes. Epigenetics refers to changes in gene expression that do not involve alterations to the underlying DNA sequence. These changes are brought about by chemical modifications to DNA or histone proteins, which influence whether genes are turned on or off. Epigenetic changes can be triggered by environmental factors such as diet, stress, and exposure to toxins. Crucially, some epigenetic modifications can be inherited, allowing environmental influences on one generation to affect the next. Epigenetics offers another powerful rebuttal to the blueprint metaphor. If genes were a rigid set of instructions, there would be no room for such dynamic responses to external conditions. The existence of epigenetic regulation suggests that the genome is more like a responsive system, capable of adapting to an organism's needs in real time. This flexibility is critical for survival in a changing environment, but it also means that genes alone cannot determine the outcome of an organism's development. The role of the environment. Genes do not act in isolation. The development of an organism is a complex interaction between its genetic makeup and its environment. Nutrition, temperature, light, social interactions, and other environmental factors can significantly influence how genes are expressed and how an organism grows and behaves. For example, the same genetic information in two different environments can result in vastly different outcomes. Consider identical twins who share the same genetic material. If one twin experiences a significantly different environment, perhaps due to diet, physical activity, or emotional stress, their physical and even mental health outcomes may diverge. Such environmental influences further distance the notion of genes being a strict blueprint for life, as they show that genetic expression is malleable and context-dependent. Emergent properties. Life beyond genes. Living organisms exhibit emergent properties, complex behaviors and characteristics that arise from interactions among their components. These properties cannot be predicted solely by examining the individual parts. For instance, A car's functionality cannot be fully understood by analyzing just its engine or wheels. Similarly, life's functionality results from a network of interactions among genes, proteins, cells, and environmental factors. This concept of emergence challenges the blueprint analogy, as no static set of instructions can fully account for the complexity of life. Biological systems are dynamic, adapting and responding to their surroundings in ways that cannot be reduced to a linear process governed by genetic sequences alone. In this view, life is more like an organized and designed system than a structure built from a set of predefined instructions. A Christian perspective, the role of design. It is essential to reflect on what this deeper understanding of genetics reveals about the nature of life and creation. The complexity and adaptability of biological systems point to a design that transcends simple mechanistic explanations. If life were purely the result of deterministic genetic blueprints, it would lack the ability to respond and adapt to the rich diversity of environments it encounters. Instead, the intricate interplay of genes, environment, and emergent properties points to a creator who has endowed life with the ability to thrive in a dynamic world. This perspective aligns with the Christian understanding of a purposeful, intelligently designed universe. The remarkable flexibility of life, its ability to grow, adapt, and respond to external influences, reflects a deeper wisdom at work in creation. This adaptability suggests a design that is not rigid but imbued with the capacity for change and growth, allowing life to flourish in a world that is constantly in flux. Conclusion. Genes are only part of the story. In conclusion, while genes play a crucial role in biological development, they are not the deterministic blueprints that some metaphors suggest. Life requires a dynamic interplay of genetic, epigenetic, environmental, and emergent factors. The adaptability and complexity of living organisms point to a design that transcends mere genetic sequences. As we continue to explore the intricacies of life, we can appreciate the depth and wonder of creation, a creation that reflects the wisdom of a designer who crafted life with the ability to thrive, adapt, and grow in an ever-changing world. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you agree or would like to add your thoughts.